being able to offer all of the newest technologies to your patients. And Mona does an amazing job of that, as you will see if you stay on with us live today. So to be an esthetician and offer concierge beauty, well, you're at the right place at the right time to learn some amazing pearls and what it takes to be that expert. And all of you are always trying to be an expert, but how do you really achieve that? And what does it take behind the scenes? So today we're going to hear live from an expert in Tennessee. And according to your state laws, of course, things might vary, but we won't be able to get into that today. But Mona Sappenfield is amazing at what she does. And she's been out there, been active. We've been, colleagues and friends for 20 something years, if not more, but who's counting? And we always try to stay ahead of the curve. And that's why we have her on with us today. So she is our guest of honor today to be interviewed. And I'm sure we'll have her again. So stay on till the end. We have an exciting lineup coming up in the next couple of months. We have our discussion series. So anytime you have any questions, please feel free to email us, share your daily challenges. We offer free consults to discuss your challenges, your growth, your startup. You can email me at any time. And don't forget to fill in the suggestion survey and how we can help you and how we can help make our live events even better, since we're not going anywhere and neither is COVID. We'll be here for a while and we've been enjoying the online education. I hope you have been too. And so I want to now introduce our guest, which I'll tell you about before she actually gets on, but she is here and ready. So Mona is certified, well, she's prestigious in many ways, but she's involved in the international aesthetic Sedesco. And if you're in the industry, you know what that means. And she offers her clients amazing combination therapies. Mona stays ahead of the curve in the industry, and I know that for a fact. She does a lot of non-invasive combination therapies, and her patients just walk out feeling more beautiful. She is licensed and certified since 2002, so that gives you a little bit of an idea, but I'm sure she was doing this even before that. She's a licensed esthetician and Sedesco diplomat and NCEA certified since 2002 as well. She trains her estheticians, she trains dermatologists. She actually is starting another program where she's actually training estheticians now, which I'm very proud of her for that, because it takes a lot of dedication. And she has many, many years of experience, and that's why she's on with us today. So her knowledge in the industry of the latest techniques and how she stays on top of it all while she's behind the chair 40, 50, 60 hours a week is amazing. And she looks as wonderful as ever. So I would like to introduce Mona to you today, and what it takes to be the skincare expert and what's evolving and what's new in the industry. Welcome, Mona.
Thank you, Cheryl, my friend. Gosh, I've always been such a fan. I'm so proud to share the same screen with you. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, you are invited now and probably will be invited back again soon.
That's
so
fun.
when we talk about sharing pearls, what we want to do is really give some inside scoop information. This new normal that we're all dealing with in many ways, even though it's loosened up in some states and some states it hasn't. I'm not sure we're going to go back to what the old normal was. So this new normal and what's evolving, how has it affected your business or made changes in your practice from, I guess, a year ago to now?
Well, I'm in Memphis, Tennessee, so I was in one of the cities that had the complete shutdown for 6 weeks, and remember it well, March 23rd. So we basically changed all of our appointments with our clients, and I watched seminars such as Beautiful Forever University until I just almost fell out of the chair, but it was a good time to get reorganized. There are a lot of things that you don't take maybe, the efficiency of check in, check out, the efficiency of how inventory works and things like that. So I shored that up. But the main thing that was so important that I learned in talking to colleagues and everyone else was to stay in touch with your clients. And I did. I emailed them. We did little groups, small groups of friendly neighborhoods. And then I developed what they suggested, which was porch pickup. And so they would just call me on Friday. They'd all get 10% off of their products, and I would wrap them up and I'd put little notes. And because they picked it up, they would get a little $25 gift card in there. And I had it all pretty. And I have a table in my garden that they just drove through the U-shaped driveway. I do have a home-based spa in my garden. My second passion to aesthetics is gardening. So they picked up it was March, it was spring. So they just came through. But to be able to do that, I had to learn things like touchless pay, which we set up the system. And now that's served me very well, because everything they do, I just organize it through the touchless pay. And it's made my business a lot more seamless, looking for ways to work with them during COVID. But it didn't interfere with a high level of service. We gained more and a value from learning all of these systems. So it's been, like anytime you have downtime, you just got to find a better way to do things.
No, I think you made the most of your time, which was great. And you were able to, as you said, the key was communication, keeping communication lines open, making sure that your touch points, whether it's text messaging, emails, like you did little groups, you had people pick up their products. I think what you did was amazing. And it really shows the true value that you offer to them, because they are Mona clients, patients, whatever you want to call them. And, that creates that bond and that relationship and strengthens it.
Well, it made them feel like for sure they were a Mona guest, because we were planning last year on Arbor Day to have a huge garden party. And it's something that I normally do in the fall, but I have a giving garden. So we thought this would just be an amazing time. But we just talked a bunch about what we were going to do. This 2 weeks cannot last forever. So, and then it became 6 weeks, and then it opened up. I opened up with a bang, and it really was not everybody that came, but notably it was my 70 and 80-year-olds that for their lives, for many years, because I've been doing this for 30 years, they have been having a treatment with me every month. And it was really something they missed. And that made me feel very proud and gratified that I had stayed in touch with everybody. Because, not everybody's on Facebook when, not everybody. So I would just call them up if I hadn't talked to them. And it kept me busy as well, thinking about, planning their programs. I have a luxury clientele that they want to know what they're going to do next all the time. So we sit down at their time of the year. It's not like everybody does it in January, but we go over a face chart, and it's basically a self-assessment. What are we going to do this year? And then we talk about budget and how we're going to budget it. And some people pay in advance, and some people scale it out on how they take their treatments. But the largest group of my client base know exactly what they're doing, and I know what I'm doing for a year. And then as it starts closing in, at the end of that year, we start talking about what we're doing next year. And this gives me also a lot of innovative ideas and their participation of what I'm going to be doing. What courses am I going to take? What else am I going to pick up to learn? But I have a very extensive program, and I do combine a lot of anti-aging treatments from the cosmetology of not just the facials. It's a wonderful signature Mona facial, but and everyone has a signature Mona facial every year, whether they're doing laser skin genesis or tightening treatments, radio frequency treatments, or if they have some concerns with brown pigmentation, I work with them with that. And I have a small business in tattoo removal the group is so large and it cracks up my book, but it's a beautiful practice, and it's because of the relationship and the communication that we have.
No, and I think you're doing an amazing job. When we met, you were part of a big group.
Right.
There were at least 4 more of you. And I know we talked
Yeah.
about care credit in those days and how care credit helped to grow the practice and helped to make it affordable. And then you downsized. So it must be
Right.
different
Well,
being, independent.
well, it is. It's a beautiful thing. I can tell you that. I'm very happy about it. But I've always thought of getting an esthetician's license. It's like a base tree, and then there's all these little branches. And I have colleagues all over the world, and some are sought after makeup artists. They do, celebrity makeup, and some work on movies, and then some have just claim their expertise in eyebrows and eyelashes, and then some of us work in medical spas, and some work in the hospitality industry. Hospitality industry has certainly taken a beating. I'll look for that to come back. Just personally, I love to go and have facials and massages, but there's just so many things that you can do in this industry. At one point, at our very largest, we had a team that we actually put together travel spas for the Caesars Hotel Group and the Harrah's Hotel Group. And they were med spas, so there was a lot of ins and outs of the legalities of it, but it was entertainment, and it's something that the hotels themselves gave to their guests. So the hotel, the gaming entity were actually my clients. And some of those ladies fly in here to see me still. It's really kind of interesting because I was not a service provider at that time, but I certainly made sure I had that relationship connection with them. So that was a very large time in my business, and where we had as many as 65 to 70 part-time and temporary employees, and we just scheduled them and per contracts. And then we had a time where I actually sold 4 Mona Spa and Laser Center franchises, and that was interesting to say, but that took a real change because of all the states. I couldn't duplicate a process that I'd created in Tennessee for other states that had different rules and laws. But I learned a lot, and it was great. I'm glad we did it. But at that time, we had about 30 employees when we were in the franchise business. Today, it's me and my nurse practitioner, who is a beautiful young woman that travels as a COVID nurse. So I haven't seen her a lot this year. She's been in many states, and hats off to her. I'm just really, really honor her for doing what she's doing. But she plans to be home in April and will relaunch her business, and I really enjoy working with her. And over the past years, I've done a lot of legislative work. And one of the things I wanted to do in Tennessee was to develop a apprenticeship program for estheticians. And we do have one now. It was voted into the rules and laws of Tennessee about, I guess that was in 2010. One of the things that we have applied to it is that a cosmetology licensee, which estheticians are cosmetology licensees, of 10 consecutive years in practice could take an esthetician after their first PSI exam in the practical and schools. They would have to enter a beauty school that you would have a relationship. The real cachet to it is, if you take an apprentice, you need to be there every day the apprentice is there. So for me, it's just come to fruition, and I will have my first apprentice in June this year, and I'm very excited about working with Lana and developing her. And she comes from the hospitality industry, and I feel that connection to people is something that's really practice as an esthetician, in whatever form and fashion that you want to pursue your license and your passion. Yeah.
It sounds like she's the type where she's a people person, knows how to build the relationships and bonds like you do because of her background. And that's hard to teach people. You could teach them how to manipulate a machine, how to do a procedure. You can teach them those things. And you can, as well as, other teachers out there in classes, and, all kind of extensive courses. But the truth is you can't teach them the personality. So I usually say when you're interviewing, it's not only what's on the resume, but it's meeting the person, seeing how they are hands-on, seeing how their touch and feel is on the skin. Because somebody on paper could look amazing, but have no people skills, not really much retail skills, and can't really, provide that bond and build that relationship where, like your patients are coming in every month to see you. And that's important.
We're always looking for people with poise and presence, always, because not only, do we have a lot of knowledge to share with our clients, but we have to listen to them. We have to listen to really what they want and, what they can do and can't do. And then you do hear a lot of things that are very private that, so we're really looking for a staffer, someone to work with you, and a team of people that are really good listeners with a lot of poise and patience. It makes a huge difference in client development. I've been watching girls develop over 30 years. We've had a lot of employees, and I say that it's a good thing. I'm not the HR expert, but in our particular industry, you really need to have a presence and poise to really build a clientele.
Yeah, Mona, it's not only the clientele, which you've identified and you've done a lovely job at explaining, but it's also building that network of referrals. So
Correct.
You have to be good enough for people to go out and say, wow, Mona's amazing, that word of mouth marketing. But there's also that referral. Being that you're working alone now, you obviously have to refer out for things that you're not providing. How is that just something that evolved over the years? What would you say to somebody who's first starting out?
I actually have I have a network of young women that have worked for me in the past, and they specialize in certain things that I don't do. And so there is a wonderful referral network. I also refer to dermatologists. It's very important to, be able to know to identify when to send someone to a dermatologist and stay within your scope of practice. And, you can't be practicing medicine and aesthetics simultaneously. You have to have that dermatology. And also in my consultations, my annual assessment that I have with my clients, we talk about surgical procedures. I need those surgeons to talk to me about what they're doing. I can't go to all their shows too. So we gather and, have those. It's so easy now with Zoom, but you can also just get on the chat, get on the phone and, just say, okay, what's new? And, and what are you doing? And how is this working? And, even things down to the artist that's doing nipple repair after breast reconstruction. Who are you referring to? You need to know these people and know these things to be a good resource for your clients and for your business, really.
Yeah, and it is a great way to grow your referral network, to grow your business, as well as helping them and then them sending the patients back to you. What was interesting before when we talked to practices about what age do you want to target, whether it's your marketing, your social media, and you're right, not everybody's on Facebook, not everybody's on Instagram. Everybody thinks they are, and they spend all their money on the social media marketing, but there's groups, there's email blasts, there's actual mail that people forgot about. We do oversized postcard custom programs and so forth, but there's all ways to reach out, like you said, even the phone. But I found very interesting that you said the 60 and 70-year-olds, because when you talk to most estheticians or aesthetic practices, their target market is somewhere between 30 years old and 60. Nobody talks about the 60.
They'll have a long life in aesthetics. My issue is I started when I was in my 30s with beautiful clients that were in their now I have a little attrition going on. Sometimes they can't make it over to the spa, but I do have a very loyal clientele from the grandchildren of these senior clients. And it's an interesting thing. When we had a bigger practice with a lot of people working there, people would stand in the hallway and say, I just wanted to show you this before I call the dermatologist. I'm like, oh Lord, don't say that. Everybody will be mad at me. But I do want to share this. I have little cards printed up. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Wait, thank you. There's my little thank you card. Okay, there it is. Okay. And on the back, it's so easy. All you have to do is say kindly delivered to, and then you just write their name, a little personal note. And in the middle, it says, always a pleasure to say thank you, and that I really appreciate your visit. Everybody gets these all the time. They're all over. I can go visit clients / friends in their homes, and they're like stuck in the refrigerators and their kitchen cabinets and everything. I'm like, geez, maybe I need to stop sending this. But for 35 cents, I mean, really, come on. But I think just saying thank you and really showing gratitude that these people participate in something you really enjoy too. You have to enjoy this practice of aesthetics.
And it does come through in shining colors on you. I mean, it's amazing. So let me ask you something with the thank you note. So do you hand write a personal note other than the note that's written on there already?
Absolutely. They have a name. And then there's always something, going on that you can actually reference to or whatever. And sometimes if they weren't able to book their next visit, I'll note that, like, nothing is on the books, call me, and or I will call you. And then just little things. All right, give your husband a kiss for me, or
I better be careful with that one.
Yeah. Have to. That's with certain people. Tell your mother hello.
No, I think it's wonderful because there are so many emails that go out, as you and I know, and there's so many social media posts that it's hard for us to even keep up, even though we try to keep up on everything to our work wise and our personal life as well. So I think that is great. Now, so if I was a patient and I was coming in 12 times a year, would I get 12 of the thank you notes from you?
No, you get them about 3 times a year.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
It's something we did with COVID that, was because of my garden party being canceled and everything. We decided to have a drive-through garden party. My driveway is a horseshoe around the property. And so we put balloons all out in the yard, and the vendors, did a beautiful package. I had gifts. And then what we did was I took gift cards and I divided up the amount to the sum of $3,000. So we had a $3,000 giveaway for our annual client appreciation garden party. And so, it's usually about what I spent on the wine for them when we would do it. So I'll give it back to them. So we divided it all up. And then it was sort of like a surprise when they brought their cards back to me, who got $50, who got $100, who got $350. And it was fun. And that lasted for a couple of months. And so it was just something that made them feel good. And then we posted who won the big ones, and and then they posted, so we got a little bit of good PR on that as well. So but when they drove through, not only did they get a bag, but they got a little cup of nice wine, really nice wine. And then around the corner, they had a little to-go goodie bag with some, sweets and yummies from my little friend that does all those wonderful things.
It's very creative, and I think it's very unique. Your situation is unique. Not everybody can do that, but I think people could learn from what you did.
But they could do it in a shopping center,
Correct.
They could set it all up on the sidewalks. So, and be, and have fun. And they get to see their faces. They get to see you behind the mask and all that. So, yeah, I'm over the mask, Cheryl. They about wiped off my lips.
Well, I'm glad on Zoom we don't need masks, that's for sure. And I wanted to get back to niche
Oh,
markets. We talked about, when you and I have talked about this in the past, and then we talked about it again more recently, but the ethnic skin and the ethnic skin blending. I mean, to me, that market is so wide open,
it
and
is.
so many people
They're
miss the mark.
so underserved, and they get so much bad information just because it's moving so fast, evolving so fast. The technology is great now to blend their skin. So when we were moving to Memphis, Tennessee, I had been in Dallas and also in Colorado. So I didn't have opportunities to work in ethnic markets before. So I looked up Catherine Leverett when I decided to open all this up. And you may remember Catherine, but
Yeah.
she was, working with June and Peter when they were launching their line, and she just was the ethnic skin person. So I went out and spent some time with her. And then when I got going with a particular laser, I called Dr. Elliott Battle in DC, and
I know, Ma.
I said, Dr. Battle, can I shadow you? Can I come see you? I won't get in the way, I promise. I won't ask, I won't talk like I talk all the time. So I promise. So he was so kind, and he did help me. I had specific questions, and it really taught me so much about the color of skin and how to treat the color of skin and what their differences were, but mainly what their similarities were in the collagen building and what they really needed. And I am not a dietitian, but I did pick up some tips from people who are, to help with things that I could see in the skin that were actually even diet related. So I have a really nice clientele of clients that we've been able to bring them in and blend out discolorations in their skin. The Pico laser technology is the best laser technology for this type of condition. And I was doing skin rejuvenation with it for like large pores and balancing oil that was just, excreting way too out of balance. So I called the laser company and I said, you know what? This laser is fixing this melasma. I don't have any information on it, but I'm doing this treatment for this. But the melasma is being treated, and I've never been able to treat melasma, particularly in African American skin or Oriental skin. It was just a challenge at every level. I'd go to a derm meeting, somebody would raise their hand, they'd say, what are you doing for PID and post-inflammatory discoloration? And I mean, you could hear a pin drop in the room, but then when Pico came out, it's just perfect for that. So there are ways to treat every skin. I mean, there's just not anybody you can't help along with some of their problems. But then again, when you get that skin balance and they have the tools of what they're doing for home care, then they need maintenance. And so it's been a really good thing to get that kind of good information from. And I would really suggest, if you do have a community of dermatologists in the are some allergy doctors that are in that ethnic community, that you could just kind of sneak in and garnish some of their information, ask questions, and start working in that arena. It's very rewarding. They're lovely. They're so grateful because everybody else has misinformation about what's going on. Yeah.
And it's true, because most of the dermatologists don't have time to sit and spend, as you do or estheticians do, with the patient for the hour and a half. It's usually 2 minutes in and out. Usually when I go to my dermatologist, I have to write down notes, so I remember everything.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember those ladies that have that spoke at a meeting that I met up with you at. They had the Rosacea Society. They have
Oh, yes.
They have great study information. They're really worthwhile tapping into. I had to congratulate Dr. Golden and really, wave the flag for him for getting them together, because I know they're all practicing dermatologists. They do research and they all have small to get them all together to meet to present was just, it was amazing, all brand new information about what can go wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it is true. And there used to be a rosacea society because the adult acne, the rosacea is tremendous and people don't know how to treat it
Right.
because it's rosacea. Yes, they're sensitive, but yes, there's a lot of peels and a lot of lasers and things that you can do. As we both know, we don't have to go into details now, but I think those are things that are part of advanced training. And I think you made a good point. If you want to start networking, talk to your local plastic surgeons, talk to your local dermatologists, watch some of the dermatologists and ask if you could shadow them. I think if they don't feel threatened by your business and you can build a network, I think that that is wonderful. A lot of people, you know, might not be open to it, but then you will find some others that are open to it. But I do feel picking up the phone, going in a meeting, shaking some hands is what you have to do to start any practice in any business.
Absolutely.
So, you know, so I think that people should get out there when they can, if not start with phone calls. But right now, some states are open where you can go in with a mask on and you can set up an appointment first. So it's advanced training for yourself and it's enhancing not only what you know, but also enhancing the outcome for your patients, because the more you know, the more you can be educated yourself and train your patients. But I love your prepaid annual program. And it's all customized for each of your patients, which is great. So I wish I lived closer, but I know that that you are results driven, and I know that's very important to you. So with the non-invasive treatments, they know they can come to you and not leave bruised or red or irritated.
They know that they can come here and leave the day before their daughter's wedding, and they're going to be fine. I'm going to make sure of it.
No, I mean, and I think it's great.
I
that
have
you're
a bag
talking
of
about
tricks for everything.
I am sure you do. And you know what? You have to trademark that Mona facials because that is unique for you. And I think we should talk about that. I know that you talk about nutrition because you mentioned that. I know that you also went into some, you know, body treatments because people had asked you for it. So I think it's important to also maybe survey the patients in all the practices to find out what it is they're looking for, so you can become a one-stop shop, a one-stop resource. And there's lots of brand new body contouring pieces of equipment out there that are amazing that I'm just learning about in the last month that just got FDA approved for multiple, you know, things for weight loss. There's medical weight loss programs that people couldn't be a part of if they're not a lipo patient or they're not a patient for some of these body contouring devices. There's a lot of,
My
you know,
colleagues say to me that they're getting involved in these devices for, you know, weight loss, contouring, shaping. I work with radio frequency, but some of the others are a great deal more intense and than the repetitive treatments that I offer at our clinic. But the deal is they're, I don't know how they have time for anything else when you get involved with that, because everybody wants that. So it just is a dedication of time, I think, you know. So
yeah, it all takes dedication of time, as you and I know, and it's so wonderful to have you on. So I guess, you know, going to the next slide and talking about what are the key takeaways today for today, for somebody to be successful and to grow their practice or to start up a practice, what would you say are the key, maybe 3 things that they need to know?
they need to know how to gather data and pay attention to what people give, the information that people give them, and it'll keep you on track. You know, it's kind of interesting if you were in an area where body contouring really wouldn't be, you know, like and you had all this investment in body. You just got to listen to what people say. You can't be everything, or you really can't. Even if you had 30 people, you can manage being everything. So that's the first thing is like, you know, like get on track of where you are and get data from your clients. It doesn't take very long to kind of understand where you're going from. And I mean, just always be kind. You know, it's, you know, how many times have I stood in an elevator and I just wanted to take my hand and help someone with their makeup, you know, or something. You know, you just have to be kind and know when your information is important to someone, because I've listened sometimes in groups where my feelings would be hurt if someone said some of those things to me. So I think being kind is very important in all aspects, but particularly when you're talking about someone's vanity. You may see something they've never noticed. So just, be careful there. And then start making those connections, those referrals. Tell people, get your cards printed out. Even if you just have a conversation with someone, thank them for their time.
No, I think that that's very valuable information. And one of the, as you know, weekly and monthly, I write articles and columns and blogs. So one of our published papers on growing your network and how to expand your network and your patient referrals. So anybody who's listening or who winds up logging in, they can always also go on to beautifulforever.com and download any of the articles or white papers that we have done, and as well as any of the webinars and educational information. We have it all listed on the website. So if somebody has missed it and signed up, they would automatically get an email. But if they didn't sign up, or they're not on Facebook Live right now, or they want to refer a friend, they could just go onto the website, and a lot of the information is there already. My book, Beautifully Profitable, is in its 6th edition, proud to say. And we do offer
I'm so proud of you. I remember the first one.
And yeah, so this is my 2nd book in its 6th edition. So we do offer 50% discount on a digital version if they use the word profit as a discount code. So you can share that with anybody. One of the areas of expertise in the book is word of mouth marketing, and how it costs you the less, but is the most profitable. And to have a successful practice as you do, the word of mouth marketing is very important. So there's lots of tips and lots of information, whether you want to have just your own education expanded through the information in the book, or you want to sit down with your team and do a Zoom meeting or do a staff meeting. I interviewed somebody who was a manager last week from Dr. Shino Bay's office. And the truth is that they bought a book for every one of the staff members, which at first I was like, wow, that's a great idea, because I wrote the book so you can open up to a chapter or a paragraph and have a marketing meeting. And what that group does is they have every Friday morning from 9 to 10 written off the books every single day for meetings. And then they choose what the meeting topics will be. And often they use parts of the book, whether it's talking about blog or social media, word of mouth marketing or public relations, and tips and information. And everybody has a chance to read it before. Might not be a full chapter, might just be a paragraph or a section of the book. So Beautifully Profitable has been very well received, and I'm very proud of it. And thank you for remembering my first book, which we have on our website, Aesthetic Medical Success System. And that is always being updated, and we're working on that as we speak, and I'll have to get you in the loop on that. But we have some really interesting people coming up in our next month or so. And so Judy Corbett is a gynecologist who has now evolved into aesthetics and weight loss programs and is doing amazingly well. So we're really excited. We just did a case study paper on her practice, and then we're going to be talking about threads for face and body and how to market a winning consultation with Dr. Aza Halim. And Lee Nelson is very high-level manager for Dr. Adam Rubinstein in Miami, and I know her for many, many years. She's worked for many practices. So stay tuned. We have lots of other wonderful, almost every other week, whether they're physicians, office managers, experts, key opinion leaders, as you are. And any questions, we'll be happy to take them from you at any time. So visit us. And Mona, I want to thank you so much for being with us today. And there's so many great topics after today that we'll be getting in touch with you so we can talk again soon.
It'll be my pleasure. I really had a good afternoon with you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you too. And we'll send you the link so you can share it. And thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.